There is a room where every prayer is answered with blood. Room 13. A decaying motel. A man claiming to preach the word. But by night, he didn't preach. He performed rituals. Within 3 days, 3 entered. None came out when police found the remains. They were no longer human. This isn't just the tale of a killer. It's the gospel of a man devoted to darkness.
Welcome to THN Mystery. This is not a place for the curious. This is a place for those who need to know. Even if knowing means you'll never sleep again. We don't make things up. We retell what has already happened. Forgotten cases, shadows in history, and things that were never meant to be spoken of. If you believe in reason, prepare to let it go. If this is exactly what you've been looking for, then you're in the right place. Like and subscribe to the channel, and join us as we step into another chapter of darkness. Now turn off the lights and enjoy. The Sacrifice Below, Room 13, based on true events. All character names have been changed for narrative purposes. Part 1. The Preacher Who Lived in Shadow Hollow Ridge, Texas. September 2021, in Room 13 of a crumbling roadside motel. A man named Elias Gray, 41, lived alone. With a patchy beard, a quiet voice, and a memory for scripture, most folks assumed he was a humble street preacher, known for hosting tiny Bible studies in rented rooms and alleyways. But Elias was no preacher, and Room 13 was no house of God. Part C2. A Man on the Run and an Invitation to Death. On a stifling Friday night, just as Elias was arranging folding chairs for prayer, someone knocked. Outside stood a heavily tattooed man, sweating and wide-eyed. His name was Darius Lee, a drifter Elias had once fed and prayed with. "Someone's after me," Darius gasped. "They're going to kill me." Elias looked him in the eye and said, "You've come to the right place. Judgment and salvation are both found here." He handed Darius a Bible, opened the door and locked it from within, as if the ritual had already begun. Part 3. Scripture, Fear, and a Whisper of Blood. They read from the book of Revelation. Elias spoke softly of purification through fire and blood. Darius chuckled nervously. He didn't get it, or pretended not to. Later, Darius begged to stay the night. "If I go back out there, I'm dead." Elias paused, then nodded. He laid out a blanket on the floor. They prayed together. Then Elias sat on his bed, eyes wide open. He didn't sleep. Part 4. The Servant of a Dark God. At 3 a.m., the devil's hour, Elias rose. He took a scalpel from under his pillow, walked softly across the room, and slit Darius's throat clean through. Part 5. Blood Rituals in the Motel Void. But death was just the beginning. Elias opened Darius's chest with steady hands, pulled out his heart, and laid it on a silver plate. He lit incense. He muttered ancient phrases in a language no one could place. "To you, Most High, I offer the soul and flesh in proof of devotion." Part 6. 3 days, 3 deaths, 1 ritual. Over the next 3 days, 2 more guests entered Room 13, invited by Elias under the guise of a private Bible study. Neither one ever walked out. Elias murdered them both in the same fashion. dismembered their bodies in the bathtub, and carefully packed the remains into plastic cases. Music played day and night. Hymns, chants. The room stank of bleach, incense, and blood. Part 7. The Luggage of the Damned. On September 22nd, Elias emerged wearing a full-body hazmat suit, dragging 3 heavy suitcases. He drove 25 miles into a quiet neighborhood near Fort Worth, rolled the suitcases into a public dumpster, and set them on fire. Party 8. Fire reveals the darkness. A neighbor smelled the burning. Firefighters arrived. When they extinguished the blaze and opened the lid, they found 3 charred human torsos, headless, handless, hacked apart. Part 9. The Chilling Confession. Police traced Elias using security footage. He didn't resist arrest. In custody, he confessed everything, with the calm of a man explaining scripture. They weren't victims, they were chosen. Their deaths were offerings, proof of my obedience. He admitted to 2 more murders, a former roommate, a girlfriend from Arizona, 5 confirmed, perhaps more. Part 10. Justice, or just a pause. He was sentenced to death. No appeal, no insanity plea. The jury refused to believe he was delusional because he was cold, calculated, and disturbingly rational. Part 11. The End, or the Opening Chapter. Today, Elias sits on death row. No visitors, no press, no remorse. He doesn't speak, only murmurs fragments of scripture in a language no one else has ever heard. One prison guard said, "Every night, he stares at the ceiling, like he's waiting for something, or someone, to come take him back." You've just heard a true story, or at least a piece of the truth, but what you just heard might still be happening somewhere out there. This is THN Mystery, where every shadow leaves a trace. Let us know your thoughts on the story, or tell us what you want to hear next. See you again, if you still dare to return.